All right, so this video is going to be teaching how to tie a VT, which is a type of friction hitch that's commonly used with lanyards or with DDRT systems. On this particular rope, I'm going to be tying a VT with 3 wraps and 3 braids. But you'll use different combinations depending on the thickness of your eye-to-eye hitch cord or the diameter of your rope. I mean, it changes everything. So, but anyways, this is how we're going to tie it. So for one, you want your lanyard to be oriented correctly. This is my termination side that's going to clip to the harness. So I want my hitch to operate in correct relation, in correct orientation with my termination side.
Hey, when you guys get a break, can somebody hand me up another bone?
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our wraps. You want your eye-to-eye to be evenly spaced through this process. So I kind of started like around here, this side just being a little bit longer. I'm going to start with 1 wrap. Okay, and I'm going to stack my 2nd wrap on top of that. At this point you can see this eye is getting shorter, so I should have gone a little further, but I can just kind of milk these wraps with my fingers and kind of move them through. So that was 2 and 3. There's my 3rd wrap. Notice it looks like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, but I only did 3. So you're always 1 less than what you are looking at when you're holding it this way. Now I'm going to do my braids. My braids come underneath my wraps. My first braid is made by making an X on the back side. If I turn this over, you can see the X. I made an X on the back side. This eye is underneath this one. So this strand is under this strand. See? And the X, the strand is underneath the other one. So it needs to be on top for the 2nd braid. Since it's under, it needs to be on top for this one. So now I'm making an X on the front side, there, and you see that it's on top. Lastly, I make an X on the back side, and since this one's on top, on the front, it needs to be underneath again on the back. So, right there, and that one goes on top of it. Notice the eyes, at this point, they're wrapping opposite each other to make this braid. I'm going to back this up and do this one more time because the braid is probably the hardest part to understand here. So adjust your wraps so that you have enough to start this braid, and the eyes need to be even when they start wrapping. This one's going to wrap down this way. This one's going to wrap down that way. They're going to cross each other in the back. So they've crossed each other in the back. This one is on top of this one. So this one needs to be underneath when I do the cross in the front. So it continues to wrap that way. So then this one comes on top of it. Okay, notice my eyes are about the same length. That's what we want. Now again, this one's on top, so it needs to be underneath on the back side. So that's 3 braids. You're basically making an X, back, front, and then back one more time. Those are your 3 braids. Now, the pulley is essential to this operation. If you're not familiar with lanyard and friction hitches and VTs and all that, the pulley is essential because it tends the friction hitch for me. You just want to kind of hold everything loosely with your hand. And what I like to do is get one eye with my carabiner first, then go through my pulley, then go through that 2nd eye. And I rotate it around so that this clips to my belt a little easier, as opposed to trying to clip it to your belt like that. So I rotate that pulley, carabiner around. Tons of different hardware you can use with this setup, but this is the setup that we have with this lanyard. You see how effortlessly a VT works. So effortless. That's why a lot of people love the VT. But you gotta tie it correctly, otherwise it will slip on you and can be dangerous for that reason. That's a VT.